Hello gamers, welcome to Game On Wisconsin. I'm your host, Gabrielle Nasby. On today's show, we are going to learn about a gaming studio that can be found right here in Milwaukee, live streaming and how to get your own stream started, some helpful tips to improve your gameplay, and we will get to view an interview with a popular Wisconsin gamer. All of this coming up now. Hello, welcome to Game On Wisconsin. Our first guest today is Karvin White Jr., also known as Comment, and is Wisconsin's current #1 ranked player in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and live streams on Twitch TV. How's it going, Karvin?
It's going pretty good. How are you?
I'm good too, thank you. What made you want to start streaming in the first place?
Well, I know a lot of people just ask me for like tips on just my gaming in general, and it was definitely like something to do to enjoy what I like doing. So I just thought like might as well just give it a go. So, and it's been pretty fun. So
That's awesome. What kind of equipment does one need in order to have a good live stream?
Well, for a good live stream, you honestly don't need too much. I mean, like most like famous like people who stream, they like usually just have like a good enough running laptop and then whatever game they want to play. So you honestly don't need much. I use like an actual like PC that's built, and then I have like a camera and stuff like that and a couple monitors. But you honestly don't need that much to start it.
Well, that's good. What tips can you give to people who want to be new streamers?
For people who are new streamers, I guess the biggest thing is probably patience. You know, you're not gonna stream right away and get like thousands and thousands of viewers right away, but your viewership will go up and lots of people will come watch you for you. And all you have to do is just have that patience and just keep doing it, and just remember why you're doing it. You're doing it to have fun, you know?
Now, is it hard to stream constantly while you are balancing other parts of your life?
Yeah, it can be pretty difficult at times because you want to be consistent with your stream so that people know when to watch you, but you know, other life things like work or like family stuff, it can always get in the way. So it can be pretty hard sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes it can be pretty hard.
And what kind of opportunities has live streaming have got you to do?
So a lot of people will like offer you like sponsorships, like, hey, like we want to bring you on board our team and like as a streamer and stuff like that, or you know, like you'll get like you just get like cool opportunities, I guess, just putting your name out there and like just uploading like clips or whatever like of what happened on your stream and stuff like that, and just getting like a nice like social media like clout kind of thing going on. So
And do you have a favorite moment from whenever you do streaming?
I don't know if I have like a top favorite moment, but most of my favorite moments have definitely come when like I'm talking to my friends, or like when I'm just like enjoying myself like with my friends on my stream, and then we're just like laughing as if like no one's around us, you know. So those have definitely been my favorites.
That's awesome. And what are some of your favorite games you like to stream?
I usually stream Super Smash Brothers because that's what I'm mostly known for, and it's probably it's definitely one of my favorite games. Other than that, I don't stream too many other things. Every once in a while, I'll stream like a different game, like Slay the Spire or like Pokemon or something like that.
Awesome. Well, thank you for the information, Karvin, about live streaming.
No problem. Thank you.
As gamers, we all have a history with certain games and what made us fall in love with those games. Being a gamer and competing in video games isn't always an easy task. There's a lot of consider when coming into a competitive scene and trying to make a name for yourself through gaming, but it does have benefits if you put the time and organization into it.
Reed Powell, also known as Pow Pow, is a competitive Super Smash Bros. Player in Wisconsin, who has a long history with playing and competing in video games.
Growing up, I'm pretty sure that my first system ever was the Nintendo 64. My brother and I got it for Christmas one year, and we were just hooked. We would always play together. We had some neighbors in our neighborhood that we would play the games with, and it became not only just a personal enjoyment thing, but also a social thing with friends. And I was always just very much enjoyed it. I really enjoyed Super Smash Bros. Growing up in particular. I also played a lot of Sonic 3 and Knuckles as a kid on my family computer. It was always just a way to escape into another world, and it was just a fun outlet, especially during those long, cold winters. So I've always loved Super Smash Bros. It's always been my favorite franchise, going back even to the original on the Nintendo 64. I've just always loved the games. I continue to play them every step of the way with every new game. I love and play that game to death. And especially when Brawl came out, that was really when things picked up for me with Smash, because my favorite video game character, Sonic the Hedgehog, was added to the roster. And that just meant the absolute world to me. Being able to play as my favorite video game character in my favorite video game just seemed like a dream come true, and it was. My brother, who had recently started college, they had a Smash club at his university, so they started running tournaments there. And he invited me to come down and enter one of them because he knows how much I love the games. We'd always play together all the time, and he knew how good I was. So I went down there, and my first time I ever entered at that university, I won. So being able to win your first tournament is pretty cool. What really helped me get into the scene back in the day was there was a website called Smashboards, which had not only details about upcoming tournaments near you, but also just guides on how to play characters. So I really studied that to learn how to play Sonic better, and it helped introduce me to the competitive scene. So the first tournament I ever watched, I remember, was Apex 2015, when 6WX, the best Sonic player in the world at that time, got 4th at the event. He was a huge inspiration for me for when it came to playing Sonic and Smash in the tournament setting, and he still was for the long time and still is today. So after I won that first tournament, I just kept practicing, and 4 or 5 months passed, and summer of 2015, I entered my first quote-unquote ranked tournament, so it was something that counted for the Wisconsin power rankings, and a lot of ranked players there, and I actually was able to get second at that tournament. So that was kind of a validation of, all right, like, maybe I am pretty good at this game. And ever since then, I've continued to compete. It's been 4 or 5 years now. I've traveled as far as New York for events. I attended a major tournament there called Let's Make Big Moves. And I've just been hooked ever since. I love the thrill of competing. I love being able to play my favorite video game character in my favorite video game. And also just the friends I've made through the community, I cannot thank enough. Like, it's been a life-changing experience for me in terms of the people I've met and the horizons it's broadened for me in terms of just seeing the world in a different light. I wouldn't trade it for anything.
When it comes to competing and having a title like his, you can bet that there's pressure to perform well.
I would say, honestly, whether you have a title or not, there's just a ton of pressure to perform. But what matters is how you handle that pressure. It's going to be there whether you like it or not, so you have to learn how to play with it and embrace it. So it's important to understand that, yeah, because I have a title, that there's going to be people wanting to beat me. And if I don't do as well as I want, people probably will notice because I'm a notable name, especially in my own state. But you can't let that cause you to play to not lose. You always have to play to win. And a lot of just regular competitors like Aaron Rodgers of the Green Bay Packers talks a lot about embracing failure and not being afraid of failure, because people too often focus on winning and losing and not the process. So the way he put it was, if you lose but you walked away knowing that you did everything you could to prepare and try to win, then that's a win in and of itself. So focusing less on the results and more on the process, because those good results will come one day if you're diligent and you work hard and you learn from your mistakes. So being able to embrace that pressure and know that everyone deals with it, because the more people I talk to, the more it's very prevalent, and just understanding that that's okay to feel that pressure and just learning how to work with it and learn from your mistakes is really what will make you a good competitor in the long run.
His achievements even got him to compete in events outside of Wisconsin.
I've competed in a lot of events down in Chicago. I've been to the Big House and Frostbite, which are the two majors in Michigan that happen every year that are fantastic. They have thousands of entrants. And Big House is considered the Smash event that happens every year. So it's an honor to be able to attend that. I've been over to Minnesota a good amount. I've been down to Iowa. I want to get down to Nebraska for an event at some point. I want to be able to go to all the Midwest states at some point, but I've also made it a goal to start traveling out to other areas outside the Midwest as well. I actually competed in one Xanadu at one point on the East Coast, which is like the local in Smash that's broadcast. And then the biggest major event that I traveled to outside the Midwest was called Let's Make Big Moves in New York. So I did that in 2020 before the world ended, and that was an unbelievable experience, not just because of the Smash aspect, but I'm someone that really loves to travel, so being able to see a new part of the world I hadn't seen before for the first time was just a really cool experience.
With being part of his community, he got to help out and participate in other gaming events.
I attended an event called MagFest in 2019, January of 2019, and that was with my girlfriend at the time, and I was able to meet so many gaming friends that I now keep to this day. And one of them was actually from my favorite YouTube channel growing up called Versus, and I met one of the guys that runs the channel and just really made my childhood. He's an awesome dude. Finding out that the guys that you look up to are great people it's very, very comforting. And so we hit it off at this event, MagFest, and he actually invited me to help with an event that he was setting up for that upcoming year called Versus Expo. So they were going to be running a Smash tournament at the event, and he wasn't super familiar with the competitive Smash scene, which I obviously very much was. So he's like, hey, can you kind of help me figure out what I want to do for the tournament format? How many people should be there, streaming, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, absolutely. So I actually ended up helping him run that event. I brought in another friend of mine from Chicago, and we made it happen, and it was well received considering it was first time doing it and I wasn't super familiar with running tournaments. I had just been to enough of them that I knew what was a good and bad experience. So it was definitely a cool opportunity to be on that other side of the tournament situation, not being the one competing, but helping set it up.
Competing in video games isn't a total cakewalk. There's a lot more to commit to than you might think.
The answer kind of depends on how serious you are about it. And the short answer is no, it's not. But it all comes down to just being disciplined and scheduling your day out, because I'm someone that I really want to do everything in life. I want to be a good friend. I want to be a good romantic partner. I want to be a good family member. I want to be good in my career, and I want to be good at Smash. And now that I have my own YouTube channel, I want to be a good content creator. So trying to do all those things at once while also wanting to try to see the world at some point, it's very hard to do. But you have to be willing to make sacrifices here and there of, okay, I may not be as good at this as I want to be, but you still get to experience all those things. And it just comes to scheduling your day out to be like, okay, so I'm going to practice Smash for 1 to 2 hours, or I'm going to review my sets for 1 to 2 hours, and then I'm going to work on a video, and then because I know I'm hanging out with my friends this day. So it's prioritizing certain things and scheduling your day out to make sure that you hit all those things, because if you make it a habit of pushing things off, they'll never get done.
When wanting to join the competitive gaming scene, there are some tips you should know.
I always tell everyone that's new to the community to come into the community with the goal of making friends. Because if you find that you came into the community and didn't make the effort to meet new people, you're not going to hang around for very long. I see that time and time again. People come to tournaments because they're interested in the game, and they don't make the effort to talk to anyone, so they think, oh, the community is really cliquey, and then they leave. So I have so many friends in the community that aren't good at the game. I don't make my friends based on how good they are at the game. Yes, there are some that I spend more time with because I play them more often, but a lot of my friends are commentators or people that are just genuinely nice people, because that's what I'm there for at the end of the day, is to have friends in the community. So being able to come in and focus on friends first and then competing second, I really think is a benefit to your long-term growth, because you also make those connections of new friends and people you can practice with, and maybe you might become friends with that good player that can help you get advice and become better at the game. So in the long run, it should be all about like being a part of a community and not so much about wins and losses.
As of right now, Reed has been working to improve his content creation and his social life, as well as his competitions.
In regards to Smash, the one thing that's really been a big game changer for me over quarantine is starting coaching with my good friend Egaz. He's really showed me a lot of things I was doing wrong with my gameplay. He's incredibly smart. For the first time, I'm studying things like frame data and just understanding how to better a lot of parts of my play that I wasn't able to see on my own. So I'm really lucky that one of my best friends happens to just be very knowledgeable about the game and was essentially a student coach for one of the top coaches in Smash. So I cannot thank him enough for the amount of time and support he's given me. And I really do think that when offline comes back, I'll be a much better player and been doing a lot more because of what he's helped me with. And over quarantine, being able to start my own YouTube channel has just been a really creatively fulfilling thing for me. I've always wanted to do that my whole life. So being able to have these months off that I haven't been working to experiment and figure out what I wanted to do with my content was exciting. And you know, it's frustrating, but like I loved every minute of it, just being able to do something I've always wanted to do. And like I've learned a lot about what I want to do in my field of marketing, what I should be continuing to pursue in that, and also just how I want to live my life, being traveling and doing this content creation and continuing to compete in Smash. And the time off I've had during quarantine has definitely helped me figure out what my priorities are and what I want to do with my life from here.
Wow, Reed certainly has a lot of great tips and moments from his life of gaming. I hope you guys can get inspired from his story, but also learn valuable lessons from him as well. Our next guest is Bryant Wilcox, also known as BattleBox. He is the co-owner of BattleBox Studios in Milwaukee. How's your day going, Bryant?
It's going pretty good. A little car trouble, you know how the weather is.
And can you tell me, how did BattleBox got started and what is the motivation?
Well, I mean, the honest story, I guess, man, is that I collected so much stuff that so many action figures, so many video games, till it got to the point where, you know, we had to do something with it. So we decided to, you know, open a shop and start doing it from there. We actually used to run it out of our house. So we started the BattleBox Club / business out of our home, right down on the east side of Milwaukee. A few years back, about 8 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, something like that.
And what is it that takes to make BattleBox stand out from other studios and lounge?
Well, I think the difference with BattleBox is that it's a business, it's a club, it's a lounge bar, but it's everybody involved are actual gamers and collectors. So there's like no outside corporate entities, there's no big dogs behind the scenes, it's just us. It's just, you know, my wife, my son, and, you know, our inner circle of folks that actually game.
Can you tell me what kind of events does BattleBox hold for customers?
Well, BattleBox and Battle Lounge are two separate places. BattleBox is our retail branch, which is buy, sell, and trade video games, action figures, collectibles. And then Battle Lounge is like our bar, gaming bar and grill. It's members only, so we have a sign-up list and all of that. But with that, by being members only, we're allowed to do all types of stuff. Like we'll make up any excuse to do a cosplay event. We're actually planning something this April, a Mortal Kombat fan event, but we do everything from fighting game tournaments to themed parties, whether it's, like I say, cosplay related or anime related. Some days we just invite folks to the bar and have some drinks and watch anime. So it depends. D&D some days, you know, other days we're just lounging, doing karaoke and stuff, but it's all in fun.
Oh, good. What major struggles have you encountered when building and running BattleBox?
Well, not being wealthy, coming from I don't want to say middle class, because you know we've never really had money, but just so with not having money, we learned how to save. If you want something, you got to save for it. So saving up and, you know, building toward, you know, whatever goal or whatever dream you have, and it's working pretty good.
And do you have a favorite memory at BattleBox?
Well, we have so many. So we have custom drinks at the lounge. So we came up with this really cool Joker themed drink. We were calling it Jack Ripper Joker, but the drink was so cool that we were like, how do we launch this? We're like, we're going to do an entire Joker themed party. So we did a Joker fan event, and I think Noah, he won there was a lot of folks dressing up as cosplay. It was a good thing. There's videos on the lounge if you want to check out some photos of it. But yeah, it was probably one of the better ones. The Castlevania thing was pretty good too. We did a Castlevania fan event when season 2 of the Netflix Castlevania series came out. So we kind of, you know, had the candles and had the lights all on and stuff like that. And, you know, Castlevania playing on the arcades and other stuff. But yeah.
And where do you hope to see BattleBox and your career in the future?
Oh, with the lounge, I just kind of, we want to expand it because we own more property up there. So we're planning on renovating, opening it up to the outside area so we can have like an outside sitting area. And I mean, but the main objective, I guess, for the lounge and the business up there is we want it to be a star on the map. When folks come to Milwaukee, we want that to be, it's kind of turning into that now. You know, but the pandemic kind of got in the way. But, you know, eventually that's where we want to see it. We want it to be a star on the map, a place like a hub for gamers and collectors and, you know, folks that are into like the geek stuff, the good stuff.
Well, I hope things go all right for your career, Bryant.
Thank you.
For most video games, it is as simple as picking up a controller and start playing. However, to play at a high level, there are some things you need to do to take into consideration. Things that you may not even know play a factor into a gameplay.
Jordan Taylor is a competitive Tekken player who has some tips to help you improve your gameplay.
The first tip I want to mention right now for the fighting game community, or FGC, is the importance of studying. You have to be a studier of the game. I have a notebook, and in that notebook, I write down my replays. I write down matches I had. I write down tournament brackets I've had. When I'm playing the game on one screen, I'm watching a Twitch stream on another of somebody else playing the game. All these things come together to make sure that you're a student of the game, that you have knowledge, because knowledge is power when it comes to this. And the more knowledge you have, the better off you'll be. The second tip I would want to give to the Tekken or fighting game community is the importance of sleep. When you do not have sleep, it affects your game tremendously because it slows your reaction time, it makes you sluggish, and you already have a disadvantage to your opponent who's had a full night of sleep. So make sure you get a full night of sleep, you rest up great before a tournament, before big games, and make sure you just put your all into it. Another tip I want to give to the fighting game or FGC community is the importance of nutrition. What you put into your body is what you get out. And this works in sports, this works in esports, this works in FGC, and this works in Tekken. If you eat a big meal before a match, that slows down your reaction time. So before all tournaments, I take a granola bar, a piece of fruit, some yogurt. I make sure I keep it light, and then after the tournament, that's when I eat the big stuff. So just a tip, please, just don't eat big before a tournament. You're gonna regret it, even though the food probably looks good and wherever you're at. Another tip I would want to give to the FGC community, to the community at large, is the importance of connecting with people. There's only so much you can do alone, and what you put into the fighting game community is what you get out of the fighting game community, or communities at large. Being involved, talking with people, finding out different strategies, working on research, working on just anything with another person gives you an advantage. I have friends in all different types of video game formats, and ironically, some of those friends are the friends that have given me the most advice, the most helpful advice to improve my game. So make sure you're personable, you're open, and you're open to learn, because it's a beautiful world out there, despite what the media or what somebody wants to push on Twitter. You just have to find it, you know. Gamers are connected, and we want to be better at what we do, so just don't be afraid.
Those were some great tips from Jordan. I'll definitely take note of those for my gaming sessions. Well, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you all learned a thing or two about gaming industry in Wisconsin and what you can do to get out there and meet the people in the community. Be safe out there, have fun, and remember, game on.